John Kerry made a pretty good case for limited strikes in Syria on Chris Hayes' show last night. The thing that worried me most was Kerry's hand-wavy answer as to what would happen if Assad used weapons again after a strike. I really want to believe that we wouldn't escalate to a full-scale assault, but I don't. Also, I would like to see, I would like to hear if we have evidence that Assad issued this order. Okay? Because I would assume that even if we have secret intelligence saying it, we could characterize it that way. I have not seen it characterized that way. It is very likely that if Assad did not issue that order, but other elements of his government did, that he would not say, like, hey, I have no control of my own people right now because I have, guys who are starting to think like, hey, maybe Assad won't be around that much longer. Maybe an attack would weaken him. I mean, there's all sorts of, it's very easy to come up with a scenario where, in fact, I would say much easier to come up with a logical scenario, a more obvious scenario, that elements within the Assad regime, the government or the military, perpetrated this than, say, the rebels. Because these are the people who hold the levers. These are the people who, if I'm a general and the U.S. strikes, I may be in better position to move up in the ranks if it goes the way that the United States wants it to. I mean, there's all sorts of machinations here that could be happening. So we don't know. Not only, my point in raising this is that if the calculation is we send a message to Assad and he doesn't do this again because he knows what will happen, he will get thrown out, it implies that Assad has full control over what's going on there. And I don't know that that's the case. And I haven't seen anybody even sort of question that. So I would I would have liked to have seen a question by Hayes in that exchange, which went something to the effect of, do you have intel that says Assad is in complete control of this chemical arsenal? Do you have intel that says that he necessarily directed this attack? I know you said the Assad regime has done it. Do you worry that he doesn't have full control over it? We're already starting to see generals defect. It's weird that we don't hear. Maybe it was brought up in the hearings. I didn't hear it in the hearings. And it seems to me a question that should be asked here. It's a far more likely scenario, it seems to me.
You think it's far more likely?
Than the rebels?
Oh, it's certainly than the rebels. But like within the government, that far more likely?
Look, I'm not an expert on this stuff. But we, just in the same way that we think it's a childish calculation to say, we're going to send a message to Assad and he's going to only think about the message we're sending as opposed to all the other dynamics that are going around. We also have to remember that these regimes aren't always cohesive in and of themselves, but in a crisis, and where people start to see opportunities or start to see liabilities, these things start to fracture in many different ways. And, there was a lot of question of, like, why would Assad do this with weapons inspectors on the ground? Maybe it was that there was that much of a threat coming from that sector of where the attack happened, and they wanted to make it sort of, radioactive, metaphorically. But maybe it was also because someone else in the regime saw an opportunity to create a showdown like this, which would, in their calculation, behoove them. It's far more likely to see someone who perceives that type of calculation than one where Assad said, this is really going to be in my best interest. And there's been very little discussion of that. But everybody just assumes Assad's in charge of everything. It's the sort of same calculation of Putin's in charge of everything. We know there are fractures within the Iranian regime, right? It's a different, and so I don't know. It just seems, to be a bit of malpractice not to be asking this question about the intel. And I would like to see that question asked.